Tinfoil hat.
Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Good morning, Swarm Man. Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know I am. You know I'm here too. I'm here too.
Right.
Join me as always, Xavier Grell, and the ones to Juicy Johnny, Jay Nice, Johnny Woodard, everybody.
Hey now.
We're in it to win it, bro. Guys, if you want to see me live, go to SamTripoli.com, click events, and you can see me live. I got a bunch of dates I still got to put up on this website, but I have September 12th, I am at the Comedy Store, and then September 29th, I am at Potts, PA, headline Soul Joel's. The following night, next to what?
Pottstown.
There we go, Pottstown. And then I'm going to be at Skankfest the following two nights. Let's get weird. If you're looking for some great affiliate programs, please check out SamTripoli.com. All of our affiliates are there. We're in it now. We're in it. Very excited to have these gentlemen on. They did conspiracies. They did only conspiracies on Rockfin. If you want to see that, go to rockfin.com, put in Tinfoil Hat, and get weird with us. They have a great podcast called the Appalachian Intelligence. Please welcome to the show, Ryan, Justin, and Lance. How are you guys?
Good, Sam. We're good.
Doing great. How are you, Sam?
Well, we are. It's been a while since we talked. We made it happen. I'm very thankful you guys have come on. And I understand that one of you guys is in South Carolina battling the forces of make-believe weather in terms of it's been manufactured by the lizard people. But I appreciate you battling those forces to come on and do a show with us. Now, guys, if you want to introduce yourselves, and then you guys can give us whatever, where our listeners, tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you.
Yeah, we're the hosts of Appalachian Intelligence, Justin, Ryan, and Lance. We've had this podcast going for about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half now. And we really just focus on, the weird, high strangeness, especially in Appalachia. We cover a lot of different areas, but we really like to focus on the Appalachian Mountains. We bring on listeners, that share their encounters and paranormal experiences. We dive into some conspiracies here and there. But we really like to focus on Appalachia. It's where we're from. We have a really thick history and culture here that we're extremely proud of. And, we just like to get those voices out there. We like to allow a place for people to come on and know that they can share their story and not feel so nuts after they're done sharing it. They just blend in with us. But you can find us on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, or X, I guess now. Instagram, YouTube, Discord, just search up Appalachian Intelligence on all that stuff. You can find us pretty much anywhere and everywhere. Just jump in, join the community. We have a platform website that you can go check out. The link will be listed somewhere. But yeah, just come in, hang out with us, shoot us all your weird stories at AppalachianIntelligence@gmail. We'd be happy to hear from you, be happy to have you on the show to hear your stories and your encounters. And we're just all about building a tribe, man, just a big tribe of weirdos.
I love it.
Great name for a podcast.
Yeah, great name for a podcast. Anybody else got anything to say?
Listen, Sam, he gave you the really good professional version. Like, we just talk a bunch of crazy stuff all the time. That's what we do. We're in the crazy, listening to the crazy, talking about the crazy. Like, this is what we do all the time. He was real professional with it, but it's like you come to our show, you can get nothing but unprofessionalism just all the time. It's just craziness and talking like we're just about idiots. We're just three idiots trying to figure stuff out, have a good time doing it, and hopefully people enjoy it and kind of get in on our crazy along the way.
Which one's Ryan?
That's me, Sam.
Okay. Which one is Lance?
That's me.
Okay. All right. So we know who everybody is. Ryan, do you got anything you want to say before you get washed away?
Just so great to be here before, this fucking storm takes me out. I've been through worse, so I don't think this little storm's going to get me. But there have been some wicked-ass tornadoes, so they flipped a few cars. But other than that, I was just fishing before this, so...
Man,
we were catching some reds for the grill this evening.
Well, I'm just going to tell you guys, I love talking to guys like you who you're in the Appalachians, you're not in New York, you're not in LA, you're not in any of the cool cities where, everyone thinks you got to have a podcast from. You guys are just some good friends who decided to go deep on some subjects, and you got a great show, and you're like the people I love to talk to. So I'm very thankful that you guys came on, and I really enjoyed our conversation with you guys on Only Conspiracy. So I'm glad we could help get the word out about you guys, because, I'm always talking to people. I'm like, hey, man, there's no reason why you can't do it. There's just no reason why. If you want to start a podcast, you want to get something out, you want to have fun, there's a lot of opportunities out there. And you just keep grinding, and good things will happen. So I'm really happy for you guys. I'm really happy that you guys came on the show, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about the Appalachian high weirdness, because that's what we're getting into. So let's get into petroglyphs that you guys have discovered around your hometown. Give us a little background on that, and let's get into it.
So, yeah, like I said, we take in a lot of stories. We talk to a lot of people, and we kind of early on we started gaining this little local following, with some of our buddies and some people that knew us, went to school with us, we hung out with. So I'm actually camping at our local campground one day, and a good friend of mine comes by, and we're talking. At the time, me and the boys here we're talking about doing like a little YouTube documentary about the Russell Fork River that flows through our town, or my hometown. And it runs through the Breaks Interstate Park. It runs through, or really close to Hellier, Kentucky. It runs through a lot of places with a whole lot of high strangeness, the paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, all that stuff. So I started digging into the river and started looking at, historical things that had happened, battles between the natives and settlers, and, just a bunch of these different stories, somebody's great-great-grandparents saying that there was a tribe of wild, hairy men that lived along the river that they would pretty much gift and leave food and all these things out to, so they wouldn't have problems with them. Just a lot of really cool stories. So I'm talking to this good friend of mine, and he says, well, Justin, he said, have you ever seen those rock carvings that are up on the cliff above town? And I was like, no, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. So he pulls out his phone and he starts showing me these pictures. And immediately I was just blown away. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is insane. This is unlike anything I've ever seen. And it's here, it's literally, it was 5 minutes from where we were having this conversation. So I start talking to these boys. I start talking to Lance and Ryan about it. And I was like, guys, we've got to get up there. We have got to get up there and check this place out. Well, we're all really super busy guys. We all have big families. We all work full-time jobs. It's really hard to throw in any kind of extracurricular activity in there.
I get that.
Yeah,
I
Sam,
get that.
I'm sure you do. You've got like 96 shows.
So I have like 2 kids, 7 podcasts, and 3 martial arts. And my friend's like, "What? Why are you doing all this?" I go, "If I stop, the demons come dancing. So I have to keep moving. That's the only way I keep them out, man, because they just want daddy to get weird, bro." And I'm like, I'm done. I moved on. I got the Lord now in my life. And, real quick before we get into it, you were talking, and I brought this up to Johnny before on one of our other podcasts, but you were talking about all the high weirdness in your area, and I'm like, when I hear about aliens, like, I really do, like, people always argue, what are they? Are they from other planets? Are they from the other dimensions? I think they're us from the future because aliens are woke as fuck. Have you ever noticed that, dude? They're like they're non-binary, right? You don't know, are they guys or girls? We don't know. They're neither. And then they only probe straight white men, which is like they hate straight white guys. They never probe black guys. They've never probed Asians or Mexicans, and they don't even probe gay guys who want to get probed. So it's like you obviously hate white guys. So it's like, I get it. And you guys are as white as it gets, bro. Johnny, this is like your clan.
Oh, for sure.
So
it makes me miss the South.
You guys gotta be walking around wondering about that beehole, bro. Gotta keep, it's gotta be weird, bro.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree. I mean, it definitely could be super woke us from the future.
Super woke us from the future.
It's pre-flood people that were on the ark. There's a reason we never found Noah's Ark, because it's in space, people. They're coming back.
Oh, shit, bro.
What if it was a spaceship?
Hey, dude, it's definitely possible, bro.
Well, we throw out some theories on our show, and one of those is the times of Noah and the flood, our technology was superior to even what we have today. And we believe that those Nephilim and all that stuff may have gotten off world to in orbit somewhere or a different planet, and then that's how they came back, and had the conversion again to start their plot and process from the after the flood.
Yeah, let's give credit where credit's due. Lance is the man who convinced me of this. He has me convinced of this.
Lance doesn't deserve any credit.
Created this theory. Hey, listen, if you believe the Bible, it says there's nothing new under the sun. So they didn't, as far as we know, they didn't have cars, they didn't have cell phones. If there's nothing new under the sun, then what the hell am I holding in my hand right now talking to you guys on?
That's interesting, dude. I do. I mean, dude, we just did a big episode on the Bible and Nephilim and all that stuff, and it's so interesting, and it's just it's way more interesting than people are taught. That's it.
Oh,
it's way more.
Sure.
I love Game of Thrones. You're like, dude, you should read the Bible. It's kind of crazy.
Totally. Yeah,
it's kind of freaking crazy. And this is a guy who's now just starting to read the Bible. So
it makes you think they make it boring on purpose, to kind of keep people from actually looking into it.
They make the teaching of it boring.
That's what I mean.
Purpose.
That's what I'm at church.
Yeah.
They make it boring on purpose so that people are just kind of turned off to the heart.
Bro, if you talked about Nephilim in the middle of church, come on, bro.
Dude, and the church I went to, Southern Baptist, which I have no beef with my preacher, guy was great, but they kind of shied away from all the mystical and the most interesting parts of the Bible. They didn't like to get into that. He would tell me under hush. I'd be like, so what do you think about aliens? And he'd be like, listen, I think they might be demons flying around. Don't tell anybody. And I'm like, why are you telling everybody?
Yeah,
That's
tell everybody
fascinating.
that. The place would be full.
Overflowing.
Dude, people want to go to Star Wars land.
We might actually have some non-whites in this church if you start talking about aliens.
No, I agree. The modern day churches, they really water down the supernaturalness and the crazy spiritual battles and wars that's going on in the Bible. You have this entire realm that the Bible talks about with angels and demons, and they're constantly at battle and war, and we're kind of stuck in between. And man, we just don't know. You don't know what these things that people are seeing. What if there are some UFOs or extraterrestrials or ultra terrestrials or whatever you want to call them? What if they are demons? What if they are some of these fallen angels? What if they are some of this Nephilim technology that's been built to do all of these other things? What if cryptids are some kind of offshoot of that stuff? Yeah, I mean, the Bible is full of the supernatural. It's the most supernatural book that you can ever read in your entire life. And here's the thing. It doesn't have to drive you away from your faith in Jesus Christ and what he did to believe in the supernaturalness of the Bible.
100%.
It strengthens that even more if you allow it.
Yeah, it's almost ludicrous not to believe in supernatural and things like that and believe in the Bible at the same time, as most people claim to do, especially in the Appalachian Mountains. Now, it's fire and brimstone preaching there, mostly. Now, in the churches I grew up in, good heavens, Everything sent you to hell. I'm shooting for purgatory at best.
Hunter, you're so right, dude. Yeah.
I'm shooting for purgatory at best. That's my only hope. I need Catholics to pray for me, but not the Pentecostals. But
That's
it's crazy. You'd have a grandmother that would like preach to you and do all this, and then at the same time talk about witchcraft and all that, and then go right outside into the garden they're growing, gather up some herbs and stuff, put your mint tea in there, and then other things when you had a cold or you got a bee sting. My grandmother took plug tobacco and chew it and rub that tobacco and it'd take the sting right out. And then they would like criminalize witchcraft. Like, isn't that what the fuck you're doing? Like, it's the same thing, man. Like,
that's the journey we're on, bro. Well, that's the journey we're on.
That is. That's
we call that granny witching right here. That's some granny witching.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to it. You had your guys send you pictures. You're like, we gotta go see this. You guys are all super. We lost them. The hurricane got them. Rest in peace. So
no, sir.
Okay, you're back. Oh, hey, resurrection, everybody. So this guy sends you a picture. You're like, what the hell?
Coming of Ryan.
The second coming of Ryan. That you got to you guys got to do this. So what ends up happening next?
So we finally catch a day. It was pouring the rain. The weather was terrible, but it was like, look, we're all free for this, 3-4 hour window on a Sunday. Let's just go on up there. So we take off, we get these, super redneck directions, like, go here, turn at this gate. If the gate's locked, just jump it and go on to, super redneck directions. So we all get together, we're going out, we find this place, and it was one of those things like I knew it before we ever even seen it. Like I knew that this is where we were supposed to be. So we go down, we check it out, man, and it was way crazier and more intricate than the pictures ever could have done it justice. And, we have pictures over on our Instagram. We've been kind of documenting this journey that we've been on as we've went along. So you can go check out our Instagram and
what's
and you
it?
can see
Appalachian Intelligence.
Yeah, Appalachian Intelligence on Instagram.
Appalachian Intelligence.
You said it right. It's Appalachian. Don't listen to him.
Definitely Appalachian.
I'm with you, brother.
Hey, and
Appalachian.
Listen, don't
suck it, Ryan.
Those pictures to Reddit because the fucking government bots are there to tell you that it's weathering and all this other. There's no way what we fucking seen was weathering. Okay. This is like,
how far deep is it?
On down. Oh, wait. Go back up.
I misread what he was saying.
It's okay.
Crap. I have no idea.
Okay,
no, never
just
mind.
keep going down. Just keep going down.
Yeah,
You'll know.
We were talking about probing earlier, and then he said, how deep is it?
Yeah. When you get rock hard, it's hard to remember stuff.
It's true. It
is.
So we go
I'm
check
drinking
this
Crown
out
tonight, so it's got me rock hard.
You deserve it. You're in the middle of a storm.
We go check
right
this
up
rock
there.
out. And the engravings in it, I mean, it's definitely right there. It is. Hold up. Whoa, right there. Far right middle. Boom.
Oh, wow.
That's the rock carvings. And we put it out
pictures
there.
Of the little man?
And we've heard they should be on there. We've heard 100 different opinions on what this could be, what it possibly may be. But when you're there, when you're looking at it, you have these cavernous looking spaces all around what looks like the outline of a bridge or, some sort of ladder or something like that. And you have these two humanoid figures on either end. It goes on, there's a gap and it goes on into the next rock. And this is like the top of a cliff. I mean, when you're standing right here, if you step off the edge of that, you're looking at probably a 60, 70 foot drop.
Oh, so that's
huge.
Down. Like, that's not like a tiny rock. That's a big, giant rock?
Oh, yeah, it's big. It's probably about 3 foot long. It's probably about 3 foot long and about 15, 18 inches across.
Wow. Hey guys, I want to tell you about our man, James McMahon, and Copy My Crypto. Guys, listen, we've seen so many people making ridiculous money from crypto. But did you know you could do the same? The Copy My Crypto membership site shows you the coins that YouTuber James McMahon personally holds and allows you to copy them. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest, as you simply do what he does. So let me tell you more about James. He runs Crypto with James YouTube channel, which despite heavy censorship has over 26,000 subscribers. Since March 2020, he's told his viewers to buy 26 crypto coins. Had you put $100 in each of those coins, it went up to be worth $123,000. Of the 26 coins, his top pick of the year, a coin called Phantom, went up 692 times from when he said. That one call alone retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this yourself. So if you'd like to join the 2,800 members who copy James, then stop what you're doing and head right over to copymycrypto.com/TFH. That's copymycrypto.com/TFH. That's TFH. You'll not only find proof of everything I said, but my listeners get full access for just $1. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/TFH. The recession is here, guys. You can suffer like everyone else or choose to thrive. James is the real deal. Go visit the site now.
Yeah.
So
So that gap right there in the right-hand corner, you can tell it used to be connected because there's a little man shape up in the right-hand corner, and then down towards the bottom, there's another man, which a guy on Reddit tried to tell me was where a building used to sit. And I'm like, you don't understand, you dumb shit. This is on the side of a mountain. There was no fucking buildings here. Like, we barely have any buildings in the town, you dumbass. There's no building that's ever been on the side of a cliff in this town. Like, don't tell me what's in this town. Like,
well, I do have my theories after going back quite a few times, not of any modern building that would have been there. But I believe this very well may have been some kind of ancient structure, some kind of temple, or I don't want to say pyramid because it's not really the landscape for a pyramid. But going back, there are these huge rocks that look like they've been cut. You have these passes in between. You have a second cliff on down the mountainside here that looks like it's just been clean cut right down the middle, and there looks to be almost like steps that are just scattered. Now, any normal person sitting there looking, oh, well, this just looks like a hillside. But when you step back and you kind of take it all into your field of vision, and you have like a standing boulder, not boulder, but we don't really have boulders, but you have this big standing part of a cliff off to the left side of it that looks like the outline of a person's face. To the right side of it, you have these two big standing stones that you kind of have like a stone that lays on top of, almost looks like a dolmen of sorts, like you'll see in Ireland and Scotland and some of these places where they have these big standing stones and this table like stone on top of it. And they call it a dolmen. And some people believe that those were like burial sites and all this different stuff. So when you really look back, when you go and you get the visual, you can see like 70% of the town that's there today from this site, from a little peak point on top of this cliff. So if this would have been like some kind of ancient people that had this temple here, this was where they conducted, whatever, their religion, their worship, their commerce, whatever it may be, the river is right there. And if you were in some sort of settlement along that river looking up, it would have been a perfect semi-natural landscape to just build into. And I believe that these carvings may be, now look, we have talked to a lot of people. I have no idea how old these carvings are. I have no idea what culture may have put them there. It looks like a lot of different things maybe come together. If you look at a lot of Welsh petroglyphs, they kind of have this 3D sort of carving that they do. But if you look at some of the circular patterns and the Shawnee and the way they did it, it kind of looks like that too, which again, we have our beliefs that there were a whole lot of people in America way before.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you know what's so interesting is because like we'll go on gigs, right? And sometimes we get booked in some of these small towns, right? And we'll just drive around, me, XG, Eddie Bravo, and we'll be like, Tataria. Because you get into these smaller towns, they have really like insane like architecture.
I mean, where we performed at was like 100 years old, and it obviously wasn't the oldest building there, but Houdini performed there.
Yeah, it was like a crazy ass thing. And
that's crazy.
But it's like when you where was I just now? Where was I?
Went to Buffalo.
Oh yeah, I was just in Buffalo, man. And you're like, look at that building, bro. Look at that building. Like, where they don't make those anymore. You see it on like all these, like on Instagram, like who made this building? And so like somebody told us like, you know, Johnny and I disagree on the Chicago Fair. I think it was used to, you know.
I only disagree because people were there when those things were put up. People witnessed it. People's families worked on them. The structures. I mean, it's not like this is ancient history. These are just a couple generations ago. It's all documented. There's pictures of it in the newspaper of it halfway built, like scaffolding.
All right. Okay. Gotcha.
You know that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does.
It's not. You could. It's like something. Literally, you could ask your grandma and be like, "Hey, grandma, did Pops work on the?"
My grandma's been gone for a while,
but
Johnny.
But there are people alive who could ask.
Why do you got to bring it up, Johnny?
Mine
you know
Mine too.
Okay.
Let's do a seance.
How dare you, Johnny? How dare you, Johnny?
Hey, he's offering a seance.
So did somebody?
We do have a.
We lost.
We do
one
have
of
a
you guys.
Patreon who has a damn. Who'd you lose?
We lost the other guy. What was his name?
we lost Lance. I don't know what
Lance
happened with
is
Lance. Lance is kind of like a ninja. He just comes in and out, but he'll never miss a beat when he comes back in somehow.
He might still be here. We don't know. Yeah. But here's what I want to say.
I think he does that on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You get in, you get on the camera, you take it, you put your kids. It looks like he's trying to put kids to bed, so we respect that.
They built this with horses and buggies.
Yeah, I know. It's just like it doesn't make any sense to me. None of this makes any sense to me. These timelines make no sense to me.
Yeah, they built this with horse and buggies.
Crazy.
Dude, I was driving around Buffalo.
It doesn't even really match architecture anywhere else, does it?
Nope. And then it's like I was driving around Buffalo. Like you could buy a church in Buffalo or Syracuse. You could buy a church. Buy a church, bro.
Why would you want to buy a church?
I don't know. It looks cool.
You got to pay taxes on it.
Start my own fucking cult. That's why.
Yeah, man. It's so
I've been trying to start my own cult for a while now.
I think having your own cult is completely overrated. Like everyone's like, yeah, and then I bang everyone's wife.
And then what?
Like, it just becomes what? It just it never ends.
Oh no, I don't want to do any of that stuff. My wife's my best friend. I'd never do that to her. But I don't know.
You're involved in it.
I just think it'd be cool.
Just to be like, hey guys,
she would definitely have a place in there. She wouldn't let me do it.
I get it. It's what's the point of running a cult if you have one person that can ruin all your fun? Like, who really runs a cult at that point?
Exactly.
I think your wife is the cult leader, and you just got to deal with bullshit. That's what it is.
Well, I'm the cult leader. You have to call me father, but it's going to be what my wife says.
Yeah, listen, I run the realm. As long as she's cool with that.
John Smith pulled it off. Still going today.
We'll get into all that. So the hieroglyphics, what do we think it is? What do you guys think it was possibly something from another dimension?
Oh man, maybe it's.
We thought it was a treasure map for a while.
Well, yeah, we started making some connections between what this could possibly be. Now, I think we're at the place right now where we think this is two separate mysteries that we're on. But when you're in it, you're just searching for anything. You're searching for, clues wherever. So Lance brings this up to he's a school teacher, teaches chemistry, and one of his coworkers, another teacher, Lance brings us finding these rock carvings, these petroglyphs, up to him, and he starts talking about different things. And Lance said, because I'd found a PowerPoint presentation from one guy from down around Elkhorn City, Kentucky, which is, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump from where we are. And he had done a PowerPoint presentation kind of linking this carving to the lost John Swift silver mines. And it's a legend that has been in Appalachia, since they vanished, since they got hidden 240 years ago. So he starts talking about this, and Lance mentions the John Swift silver mine. And then this guy, his coworker, his eyes just light up. And this guy gives Lance this gigantic story. I wish that he hadn't dipped out when he did.
I know, but he tells it so good.
But this guy, his coworker, he tells Lance that back in the 80s, that this guy's name was Don Anderson, and he lived on the Treasure Coast of Florida, and he was a professional treasure hunter. He had made his fortune by finding pieces and parts of some of Blackbeard's treasure and parts of one of Christopher Columbus's ships right along the Treasure Coast of Florida. So this guy starts he starts doing dealings with this coworker of Lance, Mr. Salyers. They're doing dealings for Mr. Salyers' parents to buy this property down in Florida. Well, Mr. Anderson kind of sold the property out from under him. And, upon conversation afterwards, he felt really bad about it. He kept apologizing to him, said that he just felt like that it went the way that it shouldn't have gone. So he starts talking about this. He said, well, I'll make it up to you. He said, I've been tracking and tracing all of these spots, these areas of buried Civil War gold and silver.
What?
If you guys would want to go, I'll show you where it is on the map. You can go check it out. And if it hits, it's yours. It's all yours. And then he says, not only that, but the lost John Swift silver mine, I know where it's at. I've been there. I've seen it. I've come across it. I just didn't have the time or resources in that moment to really do anything about it. So he gives Mr. Anderson gives Mr. Salyers this information, and he's young at the time, old enough to drive, but young enough to go and be an explorer. So he gives him this location just south of Cincinnati, Ohio, about this Civil War buried gold and silver. And the way this guy finds the treasure, and I know this sounds crazy
not on this
everybody
show.
outside of Appalachia, but this guy will take dowsing rods to a map, and where those dowsing rods come together, he will dowse where to look for this treasure.
X marks the spot.
Yeah, he'll dowse, X marks the spot. He writes it down, sends it to Mr. Salyers. Mr. Salyers makes a trip to Cincinnati. So he gets there, he drives a few hours, gets just south of Cincinnati, goes to the location on the map, and it's on somebody's property. There's a house sitting there. So he goes up to the house, he knocks on the door, waits 5-10 minutes, nobody's home. So he goes back out, sits in his car. He's waiting for the homeowners to show up. Nobody ever shows. So he's like, you know what? Screw it. I didn't drive all this way. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? They pull out a gun and run me off the property. So he pulls out his metal detector and he starts going around the property. Well, he comes across this little type of mound that's along in the backyard, and he gets a hit for a high precious metal hit on his metal detector. So he's like, holy crap. I mean, this is legit. This dude literally sent me to a spot where there's treasure. So the homeowners get there. He tells them about it. They're on board. They go through the courthouse and all this. He comes back home. He's waiting on the permits, waiting on the paperwork to dig this up. And then it comes across. The courthouse says, no, you can't dig here because it's a native burial ground. I mean, of course, the government, they were probably there the next week digging it.
Right.
That's why you don't ask.
They cashed in on that.
So just saying all that to say that, this guy, not only has he already made his fortune in treasure hunting, but the very first expedition that he sends this contact of ours on, it hits. I mean, he knows that there were precious metals there. There's just nothing that he could do about it. So he comes back and Mr. Anderson starts telling Mr. Salyers about the location of this Swift silver mine. Now, there's a bunch of different theories on this mine. The notes and John Swift's journals claim that there was an upper mine and a lower mine that they operated from, and they would run and transport the silver down this creek, to certain areas. We believe, and according to John Swift's journals, he's buried caches of silver all throughout different parts of Appalachia. We believe that one of those spots that one of these caches of silver is buried is right around somewhere in close proximity to that rock, those rock carvings. Because the way he describes it in his journal, he says that him and two other associates, that they had buried what he said to be $25,000 to $30,000 worth of silver at that time. And we're talking like 1787.
Oh, shit. How much do you think it's worth today?
Oh, God, I don't know. Do that on the inflation calculator.
We want to find out.
Johnny, you're a nerd dork. Figure it out. What is it?
Give me the year again.
17 what?
1787.
1787.
Okay. Give me just a second.
How much silver you said it was?
$25,000 to $30,000 worth.
25 to 30,000. Okay, 1787. I don't even know if that works because
you got to get pounds. I think you'd have to get like a weight instead for silver, not just.
Well, no, I mean that's how much it's worth.
Well, we got to find it first.
Give me the total again. and at the time, it was worth what again? I missed that.
$25,000 in 1787.
How much would?
I think because of 1787, the world was on like a kind of a different economic system, different currency. So it's not the inflation calculator doesn't go back that far. The Labor Department's inflation calculator. But I mean, it would be some unimaginable.
Not just that, but we have seen pictures and things of people have actually gotten into some of these caches because we've seen pictures of John's silver in his camp. Yeah. The way he would, what do you call that? So anyway, the silver actually looks like coal. So coal in this area is major, but silver ore actually looks like coal. It's black.
Well, after it's
so it'd be hard to tell
like silver.
I found out how much it would be worth.
It would be worth $821,000.
No, according to this, the value of $25,000. Oh, is this just money? This might just be money.
Well, this says the $25,000 in 1787 equivalent is $821,000 of buying power today.
Damn. Almost $1 million.
Yeah, this says $25,000 in 1750 would be worth $1,194,000.
Wow.
Wow. That's almost $2 million.
That's crazy. That's just
$2 million?
I mean, if you
almost no, almost $2 million. Excuse me. 1.1 mil, almost $1.2 million.
Yeah, we'd be okay with that.
We'd be fine. Sorry, Johnny, it's not $2 million.
So
yeah,
but what you're saying
it sounds kind of ridiculous to say, oh, these guys are treasure hunting. But just a couple months ago, you had this guy in some cornfield in Kentucky that was just metal detecting in an old cornfield, and he comes across all this gold and silver from the Civil War time that valued over $2 million.
Crazy.
Bro, what do you do at that moment? Because I've seen every movie where you find a bunch of gold, the government's like, it's ours.
That's right, dude. There's a lot of you got to figure out, okay, whose land am I on? Who did I get permission? Do I need to go back and pretend I didn't find it and get permission?
Does anyone see me here? How do I sneak in? Grab all this shit?
You got to sell that stuff. You have to use. There's such a small group of people who buy that at the antique price. Not just the raw gold price, which is what you want to sell it at, the antique price. And they would have to get the provenance. Like they'd have to know where you got it. So you have to do it on above board.
I'd say it fell off a truck.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So where we think the actual mine is on national forest land.
Oh.
But we can't give their name, but we have a contact with the governor of Virginia. That's very close to the governor.
So if we want to do this,
we're going to try to work it in that way.
Wink, wink.
But you were talking about
nod,
the government.
nod.
You were talking about the government coming and
the
stepping in.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, I got followed. In the airport in Orlando. Like legit. Definitely.
2 days after we that episode. 2 days after we episode. Right?
Well, we talked a little bit about it on one of our episodes, and then I know it sounds crazy, but then me and my family took a vacation to Florida, and we had talked about the Treasure Coast of Florida and all this different stuff. So we go on vacation. We spend a few days there. We're getting ready to fly back home, and I'm in the airport, and we go to actually there were the terminals. The one that was flying into Charlotte was right beside of the one that was flying into L.A. And the one that was flying to L.A. was completely empty. There was nobody over there. So I've got a big family. I got a family of 6. So I took all my luggage, all my family, and I parked out over there. So we had some room. The kids could kind of spread out and have room to play whatever.
Right.
Well, this dude shows up and he's waiting right there kind of in between the terminals, and he just starts talking. Well, I mean, I'm an extrovert. I mean, I'm a big talker. I'm talking everywhere I go. No matter where I'm at, some weirdo is going to come up to me and tell me their life story. It's just the way that it is. So this guy comes up and he starts talking, about just different things, and somehow, he geared the conversation in this direction. He starts talking about conspiracy and treasure and Civil War stuff, and I'm like, what is this dude like? What's going on here? So I'm watching him. So I'm like, okay, if he's digging for some info, I'm going to open it completely up. I was like, oh yeah, dude, I really love these conversations. I love talking about all this stuff. That's why I got a podcast about it. So I just pull up the podcast on my phone and I'm showing him all this different stuff. I mean, if he's there and he's going to try to grill me for these different questions, I'm just going to show it to him. But while I was talking to him, he's talking about how, he came through the school in Culpeper, Virginia, which is just a few hours from us. And he's talking about all this Civil War buried gold. And he's talking about, he tells me that he lived on the Treasure Coast of Florida for a while. And I was like, man, this dude is hitting every single high point of the last few conversations that we've had on the show. I said, so, I mean, this guy's on my tail. Like he's here to make sure that I haven't been down here looking for some kind of treasure. Well, I start noticing that there's 2 other guys that every time he picks up his phone, he kept saying that he was getting calls from his wife. So he would step to the side and pick up his phone. When he would, there were 2 other guys. And I mean, it's a crowded airport. Yeah. But I start watching, I go to the bathroom. And when I go to the bathroom, these 2 other guys that were kind of sitting at different points along the sides of the aisle where you come into the terminals along a back wall. When I went to the bathroom, I noticed those 2 guys in the bathroom. And then I went and got a coffee, and I noticed those 2 guys in lines that they're in the little like food court area. Well, then I go back and they're sitting there. Well, every time he picks up a phone, they pick up their phones. He puts them back down. They put them back down. So it was one of those things. And I mean, I didn't have anything to hide. I obviously didn't have any treasure. If I did, I probably still wouldn't be sitting here talking about it. I'd be really silent right now.
Yeah,
but
they'd never see me again.
Definitely, I was getting followed by somebody. So this guy messes up and tells me his real name. And I could see it on his face when he did it. Because I was just, in mid-conversation, I elbow the guy and I was like, so what's your name again? Well, he tells me. And I don't even remember the dude's name at this point. But I looked him up on LinkedIn. And when I looked him up on LinkedIn, he was an IT cybersecurity specialist for something other. I mean, obviously right up front. Nah, I mean, I can't say that that's government, but the dude tells me he goes to school in Culpeper where there's different branches. And then he gives me his real name, and he's some kind of cybersecurity analyst, data something, and he's talking a whole lot about treasure. So I may be paranoid. Well, I'm definitely paranoid.
Well, we're all
but
paranoid.
For sure
believe-
paranoid. You're for
I
sure
believe
paranoid.
for sure I got followed in Orlando.
Guys, listen. Can you guys believe it's been 7 months without an NFL game? That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The wait is over because the NFL is back. It's here. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. This week, new customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. DraftKings is hooking everyone up with game day greatness. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. Check out the app and get it going. Check out the app to see what you can get. Now, here's what I want you to do. Download now and use tinfoil to sign up. New customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code tinfoil, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Let's go.
Gambling
All right.
problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility terms and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Well, you know what's so interesting is like there's this guy. I forget, I'm not gonna say his name, but he's gonna be on the show soon. And the first time I met him was in Arizona at a comedy club. And he comes, oh man, I'm one of the OGs of conspiracy content. I'm like, that's cool. He's like, yeah, dude, I had the CIA almost try to kill me one time. I'm like, why are you talking to me right now? Go away. I'm having my own fucking problems. I don't need your
Well,
problems.
there have been CIA guys at your shows. Like,
All
one
the
guy
time.
openly was like, yeah, I could do contract work for CIA.
Yeah, dude, I've
love
had
the show.
intelligence. When I did Baltimore, intelligence people like, how'd you know? I go, dude, Johnny doesn't believe it. I'm psychic, bro. And I read energies. I do it all the time. I'm like, you're this, you're that. They're like, how'd you know that? I go, psychic, bro.
Intuition.
Johnny's
You're
just
intuitive.
Like,
I
hey,
believe
everybody,
that.
Johnny's shitting in my birthday cake. He's just shitting in my birthday cake.
Hey, once again, you want to go back, you want to believe in the Bible, like back when Moses was there and threw the staff down and it turned into a snake. So did those other guys. They turned their staffs into snakes. It's just Moses' snake ate the other snakes. So that shit existed, right? God didn't help them turn their staffs into snakes, but something did, right? If we believe that supernatural part of the Bible, once again,
I believe all
it
of it,
brings us
dude.
back. Yeah, there's so many examples.
I
There's so many
believe all of
examples. Those seers or whatever you want to call them, they threw their staffs down. They turned into snakes. It's just Moses. It was Moses, right? Justin, I'm misspeaking.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It was Moses. His staff turned into the big snake that ate the other snakes. So the Pharaoh was like, hey, his God must be the God, right? So that's how he gained favor. So the shit has to exist. They were able to turn staffs into snakes. I've never been able to do that myself.
Have
Ryan,
you
it
tried?
sounds like
Have you
it's
tried?
hurt
To
if
be
I
fair,
could. You
So
have.
many
Just throw
people
down
would be
a
in
cat.
have
trouble.
you ever tried? To be fair,
No, I haven't actually.
So there you go,
It
man.
would actually scare me if it turned into a snake because I'd be like, "Oh shit, I am possessed."
Well, look, dude.
I knew it.
No matter how you want to spin it, magic exists. I mean, it's real.
It's out there.
Regardless, it's definitely real.
I'm coming to grips with
It's just some people call it science.
my love of Jesus and my understanding of the mysticism. I'm dealing with it. I get a ton of shit about it all the time, but that's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at. But well, go on.
No, I was just going to say we all have to find our places spiritually. It's all a journey.
Yeah, man, I got the Lord in my life. I'm working on it here, dude. I'm growing, but I want to get into John Swift and his connection to the supernatural. So let's wrap up the precious metals. Are you going to go find this metals or not?
Well, we've been to the location that we think that it possibly is a couple of different times. I've got it gridded out. It's about it's a few dozen acres of where we believe, based on our contacts and based on what Mr. Anderson said and based on what we've come across in John Swift's journals, we have it pinned down to this grid pattern of a location. I've been out a couple times. The only problem with this area, with this location, is it is an extremely intense hike away from everything. There's only one way to get into it, or there's two ways, I guess, but we don't own a helicopter. So
I mean, if you were hiding that much silver, wouldn't you want to put it somewhere like that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the mines that he was operating out of. We believe that's separate from a lot of these caches of silver that after he already had it, purified and processed and printed, the actual mines where we think it is. And that's what Ryan was kind of talking about with it still looking like coal in the mountains is where we believe the mines, or at least one of them, to be. So, but when he left, see, here's the interesting thing about John Swift. He was a big time family name. So during the late, 1700s, the Revolutionary War had just happened. There was still a whole lot of conflict going on for years and years and years. So Swift goes back to England, where he's from, and he's going before the crown, and he tells them all of the trouble that's going on in America. Well, the crown's pissed off. They just lost a war to a bunch of farmers, and they just lost.
And ignorant ass farmers.
Yeah, so they locked John Swift up for quite a few years. Well, by the time they send him back, he boards a ship and comes back to America. Before he left, according to his journals, he hides the mines. He doesn't want anybody else operating while it's gone. So he intentionally covers it back up. He buries all these caches. He does all this different stuff just in case he didn't make it back. Well, he did make it back, but when he did, he was old, he was blind, and he had no idea where to even go. He ends up dying in Bean Station, Tennessee, which is, like an hour from Knoxville.
Which is nowhere anybody wants to die. Bean Station.
It's pretty country. There's a lot of cool campgrounds down there. But he goes there, and that's where he leaves his journals. So everything that we have on this is all from these journals. But we have been out there a couple times. The only way to do any kind of real, I won't say digging because it's national forest property, so I won't say that openly. But to do any kind of real reconnaissance, you would have to just grab your gear, pack up, and plan on being out there for a few days and just staying. And it's, guys, when I say the terrain is crazy, I'm talking like scaling cliff faces.
It's treacherous.
Every step that you take, there are these massive rocks just falling all over the place. No matter how you try to come into it, snakes are crazy there.
How would you get it out of there?
Yeah, but how would you get it there? How did this guy get it there?
That's where we're gonna have to hope that the governor works with us, and then also grab a bunch of explosives, and if he refuses to work with us but tries to force us to tell him where it is, I'm blowing that whole fucking mountain down.
To be clear, this podcast is satire. We are not engaging in any kind of activities with explosives.
Any kind of activity. We do not condone any kind of environmental terrorism. Love Mother Nature.
Of course, that was a joke. I would never do that. But
he's in the middle of a hurricane. His Zoom fucked up.
But no, it's one of those things
talking,
we've really looked into the formal legal procedures of this type of thing, you know, so much so as you get like a 10% finder's fee, and you have to have this permit and that permit and all of this different stuff. So
that's it. 10%?
That's why we're
give me more than that.
I'm pretty sure. But again, you would have to have like it's an actual mine.
Yeah. Go on.
According to Mr. Anderson, when he spoke to Mr. Salyers, and this is late 80s, early 90s, he said in that mines, and this is the way he put it, Bubba, billions of dollars worth of silver.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that's why
Mr.
Mr.
reason there's more
it.
silver, though, out there. I mean, there's got to be more mines.
Let's go, bro.
It's impossible to relate how expansive the mountain range is.
But the question is, how did he get the silver in there?
What in there? What do you mean? It's a mine, right?
I know.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Oh, hold on. Okay, I got it. I don't know why I thought he was storing silver. That means there was a silver.
Well, that's what they're talking about. Those other caches, those smaller caches.
He's refining.
Yeah.
Yes, but
we believe there were a couple. Yeah, we believe there were a couple mines where they were working and extracting the silver, and then they buried what had already been processed and printed in different areas before he went back to England.
Like who did that with their money was Pablo Escobar.
What?
He literally would go and hide his money in plastic and put it in holes. So when he would get captured, he'd just tell his family, like, hey, it's behind this random street, so and so, and then people would just start digging. People have found thousands of dollars, like hundreds of dollars, and then like, what the fuck? Pablo Escobar used to hide his money that way he wouldn't. When the government came up, they couldn't take it. You got to find it.
That's something people do in the South too. My dad knows this old guy who's just got money buried. He told him, like, listen, if I ever die, you can just come to my house and dig up my yard. There's money buried everywhere. Isn't that weird? Why would you
people
do
that don't trust the bank?
Yeah, but you're not using that. He doesn't even know where the money is. Like,
what a success story, right? What a success story. I mean, he was a simple farmer and became a fucking kingpin. Yeah. It's a success story. Like, I love hearing those things, but
we live in the inverted, bro. They demonize heroes and they like lionize. Is that it? Lionize scumbags. Let's get it. I mean, I feel really dumb after that minor thing. So thank you. I just wanted you guys to know me so stupid.
But you're partly right though, because some of the smaller caches that they're talking about are stuff that he mined and had refined.
Oh, I knew it all the time. Let's get into John Swift and his connections to the supernatural, because that's my jam. What did he know? Right, what did he have? Was he a vampire?
Yeah, let's do it. So, well, he may have been a vampire. Not a very good one because he got old and blind and died. But
yeah, what a shitty vampire.
A terrible vampire. But okay, so when John Swift comes over to America, he comes over, and for the first little while, he was kind of like a pirate. I mean, he was a big family name. You know, the Swift family name in England is a huge name. They have money. But he's an adventurer. He's an explorer. He comes over, so he kind of stays around the coast of, the Treasure Coast of Florida, the Outer Banks region, which I'm sure Johnny's extremely familiar with. Yeah. He stays around the Outer Banks area and region, and eventually he kind of gets swayed into settling around Alexandria, Virginia. So when he's in Alexandria, Virginia, he joins part of the militia troops that are still going on there, and he joins General Braddock's infantry. Well, when General Braddock, men were marching at one point, they get surrounded by the Shawnee. Like the Shawnee surround them on all these different areas in the Ohio River Valley somewhere, we believe probably West Virginia. So when they get surrounded, General Braddock's men, a lot of them get killed, a lot of them get captured and become, prisoners of war. Well, John Swift just so happened to be one of these prisoners, but Swift must have been an extremely likable guy. He must have been great with words. He must have been just a master manipulator, because the Shawnee come to love him so much that he ends up marrying one of the chief's daughters.
Damn.
Now, the chief that we're talking about is Chief Cornstalk. And anybody that doesn't know the name or has heard the history of Chief Cornstalk was the chief of the Shawnee. He was an advocate for his people. He talked to the government a lot, but he's most well known for being executed by a band of settlers and part of the infantry in a little bitty town called Point Pleasant, West Virginia, to where it's said that as he was being executed, he put a curse on the town, the area, and then a couple hundred years later, you have the Mothman prophecies.
Damn.
You have the Silver Bridge collapse. You have all these people, this gigantic UFO flap, and all of these just crazy instances of high strangeness going on in that Point Pleasant area. So in our world, in the weird world, that's what Chief Cornstalk is most well known for, is placing this curse. And, you know, all of these years of destruction and just craziness have happened in this area of where he died. So John Swift was a direct line. I mean, that was his father-in-law before he decided, you know what, I don't really like the Shawnee that much. I'm just going to take their information that they have with this silver, and I'm going to go start operating silver mines.
These guys don't know what they have.
I mean, the dude was a master manipulator
back in the day.
He was a master manipulator, dude. He had to have been. So the supernatural
This
side
sounds like
of
a
that,
movie for like. This sounds like the best plot ever for a Nicolas Cage movie. Gets taken. Then ends up
that's
charismatically, charismatically hooking up with Indian natives, and I mean, I'm down with all that, dude.
we're taking the Declaration of Independence.
We're talking subtly fucking the natives over like he does in everything else. That's he and his wife. They're so subtle. They're so evil. I'm just kidding.
But no, man. So here's another aspect to it. Okay. You know, we've been on this journey. We know that, you know, we have these rock carvings where we are that kind of led us to this journey that we're on with finding the Swift treasure, you know, whether it be caches or the mines or whatever. We start finding the history and his ties to Chief Cornstalk and that Ohio River Valley area, and the Shawnee traditions and their culture and what they would have worshipped, and you know, going to their gods on top of high places and mountains. Well, something that's extremely prevalent in that Ohio River Valley are mounds. You know, these serpent mounds. Mm-hmm. So we're really good friends with some content creators, some podcasters. Actually, one of them, Sam, Johnny XG, has been on y'all's show before. Bo Kennedy from the Bump podcast. Yeah. He's a great friend of ours. He lives around Logan County, West Virginia. So him and another group of, you know, fellow tribal weirdos, they go and they rediscover this lost serpent mound in their county. The guy, it had only been surveyed one time, and it was only documented a couple different places, but they go and find this lost serpent mound. So if you look at the spiritualism and the reasons behind the building of these serpent mounds, they were to be a place of worship to their gods. You know, sometimes these serpentine type gods. So we have a listener reach out to us and contact us, and she's a psychic medium.
Yes.
And she has no
Unlike
basis.
me, I'm a psychic comedian.
Yes.
You're a psychic large.
Yeah. That's a new title.
One of the best, by the way.
Thank you.
I can't wait till you start doing a psychic bit.
Let me read you. You're looking for love. Am I right? There we go. Bang.
No, I was thinking about it different. You were gonna read someone as in what joke you should tell the crowd. Be like, I'm feeling you're very politically correct. Let me give you a politically correct joke. That's what I was thinking.
I can see it now. Let me read your palms.
Seriously.
Oh, this is definitely your jerk off hand.
Seriously, Sam, I'm not just trying to blow you off on your own podcast, dude, but you are one of my favorite all-time comedians, man.
Thank you.
It's like comedy plays such a big role in my life. I love to tell jokes. I love to make people laugh. I'm at no means anything of like what you do. It's just one of my favorite things. So, like, dude, I love what you do. Your comedy is just amazing.
Thank you.
I'm done blowing you now.
Thank you. I can use the blowing. I love it.
Hey, I'm glad to do it because I'm serious. You're one of my favorites of all time, and it's just that's my shtick in life. I love comedy. I love what we do on this podcast, but Justin can tell you I'm full of shit most of the time. It's always a joke with me.
Checks in the mail, buddy. Checks in the mail.
Ryan, you're in. Johnny out.
So I can't do what Johnny does. I promise.
Trust me. I've had chimpanzees do it.
That's how I started. Actually, it was a chimpanzee.
Hey, but so don't you guys get scared that maybe getting lost in the fucking woods? I know you guys live in there, but as a guy from LA, I'm like, well, what if the night fucking hits us and we can't get out?
GPS, right? You guys go out with GPS?
Seriously.
GPS
don't rely on GPS where we're from.
Here.
There's no cell phone signal.
Oh, you got to get one of those Garmin things, dude. Those things work everywhere. You got to get one of those. If you guys are really going dangerous, man.
Why? You think those work in the middle of the forest?
They work everywhere, yeah, because of the satellites. Yeah. Dude, the new Apple
You
Watch,
do
the
have-
Apple Watch
we do-
Ultimate, you
we
can
do
get those.
have-
Those will
we
track you
do-
anywhere. in the world.
Everybody's talking.
We do
Go on.
have personal, we do have personal like locator beacons that you can use that'll it'll send out a signal anyway.
Oh, okay.
And those Garmin's will work.
And you hope they find you.
Yeah, those Garmin's will work most places. That's what all of our coon hunters use around here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you're what hunters?
Raccoon.
But
Yeah, I know. dude.
Coon hunters, raccoon hunters.
In LA, you'd be like, "What'd you say, man? What'd
Yeah.
you call me, boy?"
I'm terrified to say that down here. And then one of my friends was like, yeah, I go coon hunting all the time. And I'm like, I didn't even know there were raccoons in South Carolina. So
Well,
it's
I was in Louisiana. No, where was I? Mississippi. And I was doing it was like half room was black, half the room was white. And I was talking to them about LSU. They were all Mississippi guys, right? I'm like, well, what do you think about LSU Tigers? Like, they're a bunch of coon asses. I was like, and I looked right at the black people. I'm like, what did you guys just say? Don't start a race right. They're like, oh, dog, you think that means black people? No, man, that means rednecks, redneck hicks.
yeah, that
dude.
means Cajun ass rednecks.
Yeah, Cajun
because
ass.
when I was in Mississippi, when I was in the Air Force, I was stationed down there. And they're, my civilians that trained me in my job, they would say that constantly, and I was just so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, so uncomfortable. I'm like, you cannot
so
say
uncomfortable
kudos.
when you hear
but
that.
all that means, all that means is a Cajun redneck. That's
Yeah.
all that is.
Yeah, that's all that means. It's actually a white slur if you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, let's get into something real quick. Because guys, it's just so hot in the studio right now. Like our
86.5 degrees.
So, but it's
Holy
it's molesting me right now. I'm getting touched.
We got to figure this out.
Molesting
That
me too, I'm
is
sweating.
terrible.
Right? It's just it's so hot in here. So let's get into Appalachian Cryptids because this is my jam. What do you think? I think they could be Nephilim. What are your guys' thoughts about the Appalachian Cryptids?
Well, the Nephilim are the old gods that they used to worship back in the day, and that's why the Ten Commandments say thou shalt put no other God before me, because there were other gods being worshipped, and that was the Nephilim, the fallen angels laid with the daughters of men, gave birth to the Nephilim. They were worshipped as gods. They may have been Odin, Thor, any other of those religions. And then they were locked away in the Appalachian Mountains, and all the coal mines that have been digging down were raised by the Nephilim bloodline. All those guys out of the Northeast started the railroads and the coal mines, and they're trying to dig up the Nephilim and free the old gods out of the Appalachian Mountains. We think they're trapped there. Those mountains are literally older than bones.
Damn.
Older than bones.
But dude, that is super interesting.
I barely came in and that shit blew my mind.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, again, you go, okay, it's just the thought of like all these other religions and all these other occult stuff and all this paganism, whatever you want to believe. And we're not here to judge anybody or any belief, whatever makes you a better person. You do what you want to do. But the notion that all these other, like these weird pagan gods could be Nephilims.
Yeah, all these accounts are just people with different perspectives on the same thing.
Dude, that's crazy, mind-blowing shit right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How would they interpret these fallen angels other than being one of these old gods? Like, if you've seen an angel that had been cast out but still was an omnipotent thing, how would those people in that time take that other than being a god? What were these false idols being made of? When they went up on the mountain to get the 10 Commandments, and he came back down and he broke the first set because they were building these golden idols of whatever gods were out there. Why would it have to be included, thou shalt put no other God before me? If we go back to the point that maybe they didn't have the technology we do today, because now they want to say, oh, it's if you put a TV show or you put fantasy football or you put your cell phone in front of going to church, that's your false idol. But that wasn't the case in that time. That was literal gods they were worshiping. And where did they get the basis to worship those gods? Where did that come from? They just made them up out of thin air? I don't think so. Why would God have it put in the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not worship any other God before me, if there weren't any other gods out there?
Dude, that's interesting.
Worshiping.
That's super interesting.
I appreciate that.
To
I'm
me,
safe to
the
watch football.
Nephilim,
Yeah, you're
dude,
totally
I am a fantasy football junkie since 2014. I've made so much money off of that. I'm really good at it.
Oh, right on, dude.
Well, we think a lot of these ancient civilizations, all of these gods that they worshipped, all the way from Sumeria to Babylon to Egypt to Greece and Rome and the natives over here and all these different ancient civilizations, we believe they were the same beings, the same gods, the same fallen angels, only with different names. They would present themselves to the culture based on what that culture needed, and they would teach. They would give them this information. They would give them this technology. They would teach them all these different things. I mean, there's a reason that there are pyramids all across the world that came up around the same time, and I also believe in Appalachia. Go ahead, XG. Go ahead.
You're saying like the Nephilim, that the reason pyramids aren't everywhere is because the Nephilim basically taught those cultures how to build pyramids in a weird kind of way?
I believe that when the Tower of Babel was being constructed, if you take the word Babel and you go to Hebrew, Bab means gateway or portal, and El means God. I believe that they were creating a pyramid because it's described as being a tall structure that was trying to reach heaven. But I believe they were trying to reach God, Yahweh, through a supernatural form of technology that they had. So when God comes and he changes the languages and he casts everybody as far across the world as he possibly could, I believe they started building with the thing that they knew last, which was a big pyramid. And I believe that's why you see all this energy stuff involved with these pyramids. I believe that's why some people believe that they're stargates. I believe that a lot of that stuff came up around the same time, and we have the account right there in the Bible for it. But getting to the cryptid side of it, I believe a lot of these cryptids are probably genetically modified by these fallen angels and these Nephilim bloodlines. I believe not only in Appalachia were a lot of these old gods imprisoned, that the coal mine, Nephilim bloodline CEOs of the early coal mines and the early railroads, but also you have a bunch of deep underground military bases, I believe, in and around Appalachia. I mean, where better to put one? And I believe there's still genetic splicing and a lot of this stuff that's going on that's creating a lot of these cryptids. I mean, and it keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder. Some of the accounts and stories that we get of people seeing like giant man spiders, it's crazy, man.
Man spiders.
Sounds like those angels we saw in the other episode.
100%, dude.
And listen, and the more public media tries to discount things, the more I believe in them. Because listen, any media out there, social media, public media, it doesn't matter. I don't trust any of them. They're all under one agenda, right? It's like that deal with every president that's ever been in this country. You can trace their bloodline back to what is the name, King George, whatever, over in England, even Obama, even everybody. Every president has a bloodline. And then there was like a 7th grade girl that did this. She traced the bloodlines and proved it, showed a little map. Like every president that's ever been is traced back to this one King George. Does our vote even count? Or is this just predestination of everything? These Nephilim, listen, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with
these
you.
old gods sleep in Appalachian Mountains. All right, they're in the Appalachian Mountains. They're asleep, and their bloodline has got, like he was talking about the Tower of Babel. Nimrod in the Bible, his bed was described. How many was it? Like 13 cubits or whatever
13
they
cubits
used.
or something like that.
That's like 20-something feet. This dude was 20-something feet tall.
Well, that was Gog.
Okay.
That was Gog.
That's Gog, not Nimrod. Yeah. Nimrod
Still a giant. Still a giant.
Before the flood. Correct? Before the flood. We're thinking 13 feet tall Nimrod was. He built
I don't know,
Tower of
Ryan.
Babel
You keep this
right
hurricane
before
keeps
the
cutting you out.
flood.
Ryan, hey buddy, you're breaking up
I'm
really
sorry,
bad,
guys.
dude. It's okay. It's been a
I'm
great
sorry,
episode.
I'm trying.
It's okay, dude. You're doing great. I don't want you to feel like
Nimrod built the Tower of Babel to escape the flood, is what I believe. It wasn't a tower to heaven. It was a tower to escape the flood because God was going to flood the earth and get rid of these Nephilim bloodline. I don't think it had anything to do with Sodom and Gomorrah, anything like that, like the stories tell us. I think it had everything to do with this Nephilim bloodline. It's when you mess with God's creation, like we're trying to do today.
I agree,
like we're
dude.
trying to do today.
Yeah, I agree, dude.
I think that's why Jesus says when he does come back, when the second coming, when that time comes, it will be such as the times of Noah. I mean, people have always been people.
Exactly.
We've always been wicked. We've always been, we've always been terrible for our surroundings. I think it's more in line of where the technology's at, what we're doing, breaking the laws of creation, trying to break past that veil and communicate with these old gods. I mean, Ryan was talking about a lot of these old gods being imprisoned and being asleep in the Appalachian Mountains, but I don't think a lot of them are asleep. I think that
No, they're just dormant. I should have said dormant.
I think they're in motion, and I think that's a reason that we see a whole lot of weird that we see in our area, in central Appalachia, all along the Appalachian Mountains. And I know that there are hot spots all over the world. But, man, everybody has a story around here, whether it be a haunted house, some kind of poltergeist, UFO stuff, cryptid sightings. It's so
Well, not just that, but how are we portrayed in the media when you have an accent like me and Justin?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
We're portrayed as fucking moron, dumbass, redneck hillbillies that don't know shit. We don't even know what shoes are for.
Yeah.
According to the national media. So who the hell's going to believe us when we say, yeah, there's a big old light in the sky? I didn't even know what to tell Margaret. I told her to stay inside and keep the kids in there because shit, I didn't know what was going on. That's the type of people you get on the news. That's the type of people they put on there. They find the dumbest motherfucker in our fucking corner of the earth, and they put them on the news, and then that's how we get portrayed. All right. There's no education in Appalachia. There's no nothing. We're just a bunch of dumb redneck hillbillies that don't know shit. And then they just blow it off that way. And the rest of the world makes fun of us. Right. I mean, come on. Our accent is funny. I know. It's hilarious. I love when Bill Burr makes fun of us.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Hilarious.
I'm with you.
But
I'm with you, dude.
I mean, but how easy is that just to blow off, right? How easy is that to blow off? You put the poorest, at least educated motherfuckers on the news, and then you're just like, yeah, here, this is what they're saying, but this is what's actually going on. And then the rest of the world just buys into it because they want to be an intellect. They want to fit in with the smarter people. They want to, they don't want to be categorized like me and Justin just by people hearing our accent. That's what's going on.
Well, we live in the
I believe
inverted,
that's what
dude.
happens.
We live in the inverted. That's a fact. We live in the inverted, and anything
Exactly.
they're demonizing is probably powerful, and they go definitely after rednecks, bro. And they like the way they make rednecks look, the way they make the forest look. I mean, this guy's freaking out about the forest. I mean, I'm not saying you should just walk into the forest and it's all kumbaya, but the way they do that with that, I mean, like I'm not going near the ocean because it's fucking sharks, right? That's what they want me to think.
Yeah, Shark Week.
Right? That's what they want me to think. But
My number one saying is, I may not ever amount to shit, but I guarantee you I'll never amount to shark shit.
I respect that. All right, guys. I can't take the heat in the studio anymore. I'm sorry about that. We did a nice chunk. It was a great episode, dude. I really enjoyed all of it. It's all my favorite things, dude. It was all my favorite things. One more time, tell them where they can find you guys.
Yeah, first off, Sam, Johnny, XG, it was a pleasure to be here, to be able to have this conversation with you guys. Look, and Ryan blew a little, so I'm going to right now. This is the first podcast I ever listened to. It's what got me hooked into podcasting. It's what made me decide that I wanted to be a podcaster. So for that, thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for having us. You can check out Appalachian Intelligence just about anywhere. We're on everywhere. We're on wherever you're listening to this podcast, except for, maybe Rockfin. But you can, all of our socials, we're on all of them: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. You can check us all out over there. We do have a Patreon, a support the show link if you feel led to come check that out. A bunch of extra content, cool little stuff over there. We have an email, appalachianintelligence@gmail.com. You can send us your stories, experiences. If you want to come on the show and do an interview, hit us up on there. We'll be more than happy to bring you on and give you a voice. But yeah, pretty much just anywhere that you go to the old Google machine and type in Appalachian Intelligence, our sweet, sweet, sultry, hickish redneck voices and these ugly mugs are going to show up.
Love it, dude. Love it, buddy.
Yeah.
You guys are doing great. I'm so excited. Hopefully next time we won't have a hurricane, but you guys came, you dropped the hammer of the gods, all the gods. Nope, there's only one God. But you know what I'm saying, dude. So it was great. I'm trying to get spiritual. Dude.
We don't know.
I'm trying to get spiritual here, bro. I'm trying to be on the good side here. You guys are great. Guys, hang out. Check out the SamTripoli.com for all of my upcoming events. Check out our affiliate programs. We just add some new people to it. And check out these highlights, man. Highlights from all my other podcasts. Enjoy them. Thank you for listening. We love you very much. Have a great week. Enjoy the highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
Your debts are cancelled.
It's not news, but...
And no one seems to be talking about this, so I will. If you have some kind of contract to repay a debt, it may be written in dollars or pounds or euros. But if these psychopaths go to a digital currency, you have no agreement to pay in a digital currency. The currency that you took a so-called loan in had a paper equivalent. So if they want you to pay in a digital-only currency, that is retrospectively changing the contract, which they cannot do. For instance, they cannot require you to pay off a dollar loan with a Fed coin. It's not the same thing. Now, chances are the original contract for debt was unlawful anyway, and you already don't owe it. But in any case, seems to me the faster they go to a digital currency, the faster they discharge your debt. And what about national debt? We keep hearing about it, how many trillions nations owe and how they're paying more in interest than their entire GDPs. But who is that debt owed to? Banks. Do we care if the banks get paid? And who's going to enforce it if they aren't? US military?
Yeah.
Trillions of dollars have disappeared into the Pentagon that can't be accounted for, which means the military are getting kickbacks from weapons suppliers, which means the suppliers aren't meeting proper standards, which means the US military has a whole lot of shit that doesn't work. Besides, if it's politicians and bureaucrats who ran up the debt, let them be the ones to repay it, not the people.
Good luck
They've
with
been
that.
running
Yeah.
a very badly
Good luck,
mismanaged
dude.
corporation. All these governments are corporations. It's corporate debt. It's not the people's debt.
See, I hear this a lot, this corporate thing. I don't understand it.
Yeah, well, the United States is a corporation.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I can't find anything to my satisfaction that tells me that
But the problem
means
is
anything.
this
It's meaningful
guy
to me.
thinks that these people play by the rules. They will just change the rules.
Yeah, they'll just be like,
they'll be like, oh yeah, you still owe us the money. Be like, no, I don't. You're not letting me do U.S. dollars. Nope,
You're
still
going
owe
to
me
jail.
the money.
Yeah. Go to jail now.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, it's just like that.
I'm taking your house now.
It's like when the golden rule. Whoever has the gold makes the rule, and if you don't even have gold, you still make the rule. But I thought it was
They
interesting.
want to put it on our backs for generations.
Let's stop. We're done.
Okay, that's it. Okay. This story is crazy. We talked about something like this a couple of months back, and it has happened again here. This is from DeKalb County in Georgia. This man says squatters took over his home, and he got arrested when he called the police on them. A DeKalb County man, you got my southern accent there. A DeKalb County man says squatters broke into his home in February and are still there.
Why?
Backlogs with courts and the marshal's office have left him legally unable to enter his own home.
Why?
Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray has learned there's finally an eviction order, but the homeowner is still waiting. Now he's waiting on the DeKalb Marshal's schedule to be able to actually evict the squatters.
What pieces of shit?
2 people have died in this home from overdoses since it all started, and code enforcement has even cited the homeowner for not properly maintaining the house he's not allowed to enter.
It's unbelievable.
Tim Arco said,
This is why you become an anarcho-capitalist.
Anarcho-capitalist. Yeah, 100%. Tim Arco said just days after his tenants, he was renting this house, moved out of his East Lake rental home, he showed up to find someone else had broken in. He said as soon as he pulled into the driveway, someone pointed a gun at him. I jumped the fence and ran. I didn't know what else to do, Arco said. That was all the way back in February. 6 months later, the alleged squatters are still living in his home. I didn't walk in on a family eating dinner. I walked in on weapons, a prostitute, a bunch of dogs in the back, and my fence broken down, Arco said. But it was Arco police took into custody that day back in February when he called 911. They told the police that I was a home invader and that it was their home, and so I ended up being arrested and detained, Arco said. Since then, Arco has been fighting to evict the squatters in court. After months of court delays, the eviction order has finally been signed, but now he's waiting on the marshals. No one likes, being in the court system, but it becomes even worse when the system is broken down, says John Ernst, Arco's attorney. DeKalb County in Georgia.
Unbelievable, bro.
I feel violated.
I would sue the fuck out of the county. So you can't even leave your house?
Unbelievable. I mean, he said just a few days that nobody was in there, and then they were.
It makes me sad.
And this is not the first time this has happened down there, apparently. It
makes me sad.
It's gone around that you can squat wherever you want now down there, so people are squatting in homes.
Yep, this is all part of the demoralization campaign.
It's that thing we were talking about earlier. Yeah.
It's all part of this.
A rule that you don't enforce is as good as no rule at all. Now a clip from Conspiracy Social Club.
We're going to go back to this story. But anyways, I'm getting into this. Everything's about fallen angels. What percentage of angels were cast out of heaven?
666%.
No, 33%. 33.
Is that true? 33?
Yeah.
All of Lucifer's followers?
33, yep.
They were cast from heaven.
Yes.
Look that up.
What does that number mean?
That's the Freemason number, 33. Every time you see 33, no, some shit's getting weird.
Here's a clip from We Don't Smoke the Same.
Hey, what's up with that Obama fool? The Obama chef? Yeah.
Fool,
I heard that fool saw Michelle's dick.
Exactly right, dog. He saw Michelle's dick. It was bigger than his.
You think she walked up to him? You think she walked up to him while he was kissing? Was like, "What's up, nigga?"
What's up, fool? That shit's a big one, huh? BBC, huh?
She walked up to him like Jason Love.
Just imagine, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you think? Like, at that point, I would be like, "Bitch, stop playing with me. Just walk around here."
The only way not to get killed if you see Michael Obama's dick is you got to start sucking it.
All right, so here
if you see Michelle Obama's dick and you don't want to die, you better start sucking it.
But all right, so here's the thing: is that the conspiracy? Is that a real conspiracy?
That what? That Michelle Obama's a dude?
No, okay, I know that's a real conspiracy, Bo. Do you know anything, Mr. Fucking Conspiracy over here? Why is this is kind of mysterious? Because Obama didn't really have a lot of animosity. So for he wasn't even drowning in a place where you could swim.
Exactly. Do you know who else's chefs died?
Who?
The Clintons' chef has died.
No.
Dude, he's at your house all the time, dog. He hears something, you think
Bill Clinton's chef died too? Yep. Mysteriously?
How?
In the pond too?
Dude, Bill Clinton, the Clintons, they literally have over, I'm not even lying, over 50 bodies that are dead and they were friends, lawyers, amigos, and they're all suicides. Type in the Clintons body count.
Damn.
There's a whole website about the Clinton body count, dog.
Xavier, who fucking cares, dude?
Because we were talking about what's up with this Obama chef drowning? Like he was found drowning in a place where you don't even swim.
Yeah, and I'm telling him he saw Michelle Obama's dick and they had to kill him.
They
offered him. They told him you gotta suck it if you don't want to die. He said no, I'm a real man. Dead, dude. You saw Michelle
Obama walked in. He was like, "When can I find this documentation?" No
Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about all the wonderful stuff we got going on SamTripoli.com. Check out tinfoilhat-t-shirts.com. We got 2 more about to go on, some brand new shirts, so check that out. My cameos are fire as well. Cameos are fire. I'm giving you 3 5-minute cameos going deep dives into everything conspiracy, or I'm giving you positive reinforcement, whatever you need.
You're doing birthdays too, right?
We're doing birthdays.
Woo-hoo!
We're doing bar mitzvahs. You're about to lose your virginity. You're going to have your first threesome. Whatever it is, I'm going to encourage you to do the best you can and drop the hammer of the gods. Guys, I also want you to check out Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. I'm part of their Wise Wolf pack. I'm buying gold and silver or precious metals from them every month. Join me. Get those precious metals for the end of times, or at least the end of the fiat dollars. We also have, I love some of these other stuff, AquaCure Hydrogen Brown Gas. We've had the inventor on. We've loved it. Wiseman's told us about the importance of hydrogen. Get it. I had people at my last show tell me how much they love this stuff. So go get it. You use the promo code. You'll get a little discount. Come on. Get yourself some hydrogen brown gas, everybody. It's a great way to support the show. Harley Ray candles and crystals, some of our favorite people on the planet. This is a great way to get your mystic on, your mysticism on. You need to fight off the powers of evil and use these candles, these crystals, the sage. It's all there, a one-stop shop for all of your mystical stuff that you need. And our new affiliate, Tim James and Chemical Free Body. I love his stuff. I use it all the time. He's one of the best in the food gut industry. Check him out. He's got the best supplements. He's got the best workout programs. I love him to pieces. Check him out. He's a good friend of mine. We talk all the time. He's got everything you need to get the right vitamins, the right balance, and everything. And if you use the promo code TINFOIL, you get 5% off. So check it out. Help us help you. Help us help you. And enjoy.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind. Tinfoil hack.